I wanted to say something about it. First, I like Marvel, so I hope that goes well. But I'm gonna talk about this. J J Cole, I did like the song that he dropped. I was like, yes, we. I'm like, yes, you can't back down. To me, the you can't back down. That's like me saying that I'm better than Stephen A. Smith. Let's have a one-on-one live debate, and then saying, you know what, Stephen A. Smith, I'm sorry, you better than me. I'll never be on your level. That's why I feel like J. Cole did. 'Cause to me, it's like a sport. It's like a sport. You have to have a certain level of confidence, and to a degree, you have to have a certain level of delusion to be as great as you is. When I get on this mic, I have to believe that nobody on planet Earth is better than me and my coworkers. Mm-hmm. I have to believe that to be able to perform at the level that I do, and I actually believe that. Mm-hmm. Whether it's delusion or not, I actually believe that. So to me, as far as the rap side of it, mm-hmm. I feel like it taints his legacy a little bit. As far as we just talking about rap, we're just talking about rap.
Who legacy?
J. Cole.
I don't think so. I just took it as he took the high road. And everybody is it's been comparison on Twitter. It's been actually trending for the last 2 days. When Jay-Z apologized to Nas about dissing him, and said he went too far.
See, that's after the fact though. He said sorry.
It was after a song, a second song, but he initiated the first song, and then Nas responded, and then he came back with another song.
But that's the same. A lot of people, some people still put Nas over Jay-Z because he beat him one-on-one. Some people put Tupac over Biggie because he beat him one-on-one. It's still relevant.
Debatable. J. Cole is better than Kendrick, in my opinion. Because he speak more realness. He's speaking with realness. He authentic of things that he do. That's why when he said what he was saying, he was like, "That's not even me," and he apologized. He just took the high road. Sometimes you gotta be the bigger person in fights.
That's true.
Sometimes you got.
Huh? No, you're right.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta be the bigger person.
Alright. So the thing I'm gonna talk about, fortunately, is not entertainment or basketball, but it's football. And now that the off season's here, there's still a lot of stuff happening that it's not as big as when the football season's happening, but there's still a lot of interesting stuff. And I know most of the people who will see this or listen to this will be Ravens fans. And as much as you're going to hate to hear it, the Steelers are ready to become kings of the North again. And whether you like it or not, about to take the division and go even farther. They've had some crazy good signings, some crazy good offseason moves. And we're getting ready for the draft. And I think we're going to blow it out. We got...
Are you a Pittsburgh State fan?
Of course.
I mean, because the way you was talking, I had to ask. I'm sorry. Continue.
So as most people have probably heard by now who follow the NFL, we've had two big offseason moves to get Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. We got them both for very little, and they had lots of upside. Russell Wilson, as most people know who follow football once again, he's a veteran. He's about middle-aged, 35, 36, older QB. Was dominant with Seattle for 10 years, won a Super Bowl. Then he got traded to the Denver Broncos in a big blockbuster trade. Most people know that didn't work out for Denver, and they fortunately had to cut him. But he wasn't. A lot of people, when they think of Russell Wilson last year, they don't think he was really bad. But in reality, people think that because he wasn't as good as he was on Seattle. He definitely took a step back. But I still think he's more than capable of producing at an average to a bit above average QB level, and that's really all the Steelers need. Kenny Pickett, I was never a fan of him. Glad we got rid of him, but he was terrible. I thought he was the worst QB in the league, if not one of the worst. and we still managed to win 10 games. I think with Russell Wilson, who's an average QB, at least in my opinion, we can take it to the next step and win 11, 12, 13 games as long as we don't have a whole lot of injuries. And then Justin Fields. We got him for a 6th-round pick. Kenny Pickett, who was much worse than him, went for a 4th. Mac Jones, much worse than him, went for a 6th. And he got traded from the Bears mainly because they had the 1st overall pick, and Caleb Williams, can't miss prospect for most people, so they're like, we'll trade him. We can't miss out on this guy. No point having 2 keys on our roster. So we got him for basically dirt.
Mm-hmm.
Got him for a 6th-round pick, and even though he probably won't start this year, he's still got a lot of potential to be the next QB for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Lots of potential, super athletic, and wasn't too bad either. I don't know if he was average, but he was definitely not a terrible quarterback. Like I wouldn't say he was a bottom 10 QB last year. Still did decent, and I'm proud that we got those 2. And the other thing about Russell Wilson is we signed him for $1 million. That's cheaper than probably 99% of the starting QBs besides like Brock Purdy and maybe 1 or 2 others. $1 million for a starting QB is dirt cheap.
Mm-hmm.
So glad we got that signing. And then, as your Raven fans probably know, Patrick Queen, your old inside linebacker, just signed with us for 3 years. Super proud of that signing. A lot of people have him going in free agency to get $20 million. He only got, I'm not sure the exact amount, but it was somewhere between $13 and $16 million for 3 years. I thought that was also a very cheap and good deal for the Steelers to sign him, especially since he was a good linebacker last year, top 10 in the league last year. And he's getting better every year of his career. Former 1st-round pick, super athletic. Even if he stays the same, he's at least a top 15 inside linebacker, and he's still young. He has potential to develop in maybe a top 5, or maybe even an All-Pro if we're dreaming. So those are 3 of the big signings. We had a couple other smaller signings just for depth pieces or lower-level players, but in my opinion, the Pittsburgh Steelers have the best offseason of any team this season so far. The draft still hasn't come. Even when the draft does come, we won't know how those work out until after the season. I mean, last year, the Lions, people said, oh, they drafted Jahmyr Gibbs too high. No, there was another, Jack Campbell, inside linebacker, and I think pick 17 or 18, said he got drafted too high. But those turned out to be good picks. Just because you reach on a player in the draft, if you're high on them and they turn out well, it's a good pick. If you're high on a player, go for it. And they ended up having one of the best drafts of any team last year, maybe the best, when people were saying they had the worst. So I'm excited to see how the draft turns out, on top of how the Steelers do, beating the Ravens twice again. And all that.
One of the games we gave y'all.
No, I mean, a win is a win. I give them that.
Hopefully we don't lose to the Chiefs in the championship, though, like y'all did.
I think the one key piece that you're missing there is that all of those players got to gel. 1.
Yeah.
2, those 2 quarterbacks that you named, they wasn't even in your top 10 last week when we talked about sports.
Oh, I agree. I never said top 10 QBs.
They wasn't in
You
your top
said
10.
mid, which is like 16.
Yeah, I said mid. That's all.
They wasn't in your top 10, so they top
Not
10
beat
meaning
Lamar and Joe Burrow.
meaning they have to. Joe Burrow was bad. So how did he overcome Russell Wilson? Last year he didn't even play.
Because he's still a QB. But the thing is, a miscommunication in the league is, yes, having an elite QB does certainly help your team, but it's super common for teams with below average QBs, top average QBs, or even like just a bit above average. You don't need an elite QB. Jimmy Garoppolo, 2020, he's a backup now. He's not even that good. But he was an average QB, and he helped lead his team to a Super Bowl. They lost in the Super Bowl, but you don't need an elite QB. If you have a top 15 QB, game manager, can control the game, do what he needs to, and you have a good team around him, like a good defense, they can do wonders.
In the AFC with Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, and C.J. Stroud, you need an elite QB to win a playoff game.
Heck no. If you got an elite
You
defense,
can make it to the play. I can see the Steelers winning 11 games, 12 games. I think 13 is a little high
Yeah, I agree
because
with that.
the
I don't think they're going to run it north.
Yeah, they're not winning the North because
Yeah, we are.
the AFC North
I don't
is
think
too
so. And you're
stacked.
and he's betting all of his money on Patrick Queen.
Y'all might be second
Oh,
at
no, not
best.
them.
I still don't even see that. I think the AFC North is too stacked for them
Yeah.
to win it, and I think the top of the AFC is too stacked for them to win a playoff game. I can see them being the 6th seed and giving somebody a good fight, but this is how dangerous we were since we got Derrick Henry. The Chiefs won the Super Bowl, and everybody is building their team to beat us.
Yes.
You know how crazy that is?
Yes.
Everybody's like, I don't even care about the Chiefs. Let's beat the Ravens.
Well, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when Pittsburgh had Jerome Bettis, and everybody was trying to stack up against the bus.
Yep. That's going to be Derrick Henry with Lamar. That is going to be a scary duo.
Yeah. So
That is.
I would say yeah, they made a bunch of great off signing deals, but all of that stuff has to show in the game. And just like every other NFL team, injuries can play a huge part in this.
Oh yeah. Next up,